Welcome everyone. Surprise! This is being recorded and that is my mistake because I forgot that we had a musical event Tuesday evening, which is the time that you're watching this. I forgot that we had tickets to go see a cover band of Simon and Garfunkel down in the Fort Myers. So, needless to say, I'm not live and this is pre-recorded, but I wanted to make sure I brought to you some cards, and I've got two fun folds. One's going to also include an envelope, so I'm only doing two cards because I think it's going to take a little bit longer than the second one. Is not hard, but there's a lot of pieces to it, and I'll have to do a lot of, try to make sure I explain everything correctly. Excuse the junk behind me. That is my other desk that I've cleaned everything off. I've got cards to file, cards to mail out, and things to get ready to, some stuff I started pulling to get ready to sell since they're retired. But anyways, I hope y'all are doing well. Even though I'm not here, please make sure that you let me know that you're watching. And if you happen to be new to my channel, welcome. I'm Dawn Duvall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And I've been doing this for about going on 12 years. So I'm excited to be here this evening and share with you these cards. And as always, if you like my videos, please make sure that you share. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure that you click the button and ring the bell. Click that little bell button, and that way you'll be notified every time I upload a new card or a new video. I'm sorry. So, okay, let's get started. As always, every week we if you place a certain order, $35 order, then you will get the card kits, the supplies to make the cards if you use my host code. $50, you're going to get an all-inclusive tutorial bundle. This month's bundle, and I forgot to write down the number, I want to say it's 52, it's in the mid-50s if I'm not mistaken, and I'll show you a picture of some of the cards that are made. This is awesome because you'll get this emailed to you, and it gives you a lot of great inspiration and ideas of how to use some of these stamp sets. And then if you place $75 or more, then you'll get card kits, the tutorial bundle, as well as embellishment. My mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. So, all right, well, let's get started because I do want to show you these two cards. Hopefully you've not seen them before. You may have, I don't know, but anyways, let's get started. I'm going to flip the camera down to the table. This is my new host code for the month of April. It's K2UVH93U. Make a note of that. It will also be on my blog, which you can find at shallwestamp.com. If you've not signed up for my newsletter, please make sure you do that, and you can go to shallwestamp.com as well. You'll also receive a free One Sheet Wonder class. And I'll be providing you some more information, which I said last week. I'm going to provide you some more information on a membership that I have that I'm going to be reopening here soon regarding the One Sheet Wonder. So this is the tutorial bundle. There is absolutely beautiful, beautiful cards and just unbelievable. Now, most of the things it looks like people have used is from our mini catalog and the annual catalog, but they still, if you don't have access to those supplies, you still can use these for great inspiration. Now, the catalog for demonstrators, we've already got a copy of the PDF, which I've downloaded for myself to preview. There's some great things. I think y'all will be pleased with it. Sad, there's a lot of things that are going away. Now, I did post on our VIP page a list of the last chance products in large print. And if you're not one of my VIPs, then you need to sign up for that. It's on Facebook, and just type in Shall We Stamp VIP or Shall We Stamp Live, I think. And that'll get you over there, and then I'll have to approve you to join. And then the other thing, the large print. So you'll get the large print. And also, if you want a catalog and you don't have a demonstrator And just reach out, message me with your name and address and phone number. I'll be more than happy to send you one. Those of you that have gotten them in the past from me will automatically get them again. And those, I'll be able to order those. I can pre-order on April 4th, so I'll order the catalogs. It's going to take me probably till mid-April before they get shipped out. So I'll let you know once they go out in the mail so that you can be on the lookout for them. All right. Okay, so here's the tutorial bundle. Keep that in mind. I'll have that posted as well. So let's get started. We're going to make, now I'll show you, I haven't made the card yet, so we're going to be doing this together, but I'm going to give you all of the information, and we're going to start work, and then I'll show you what it's, so it's going to be kind of a surprise. You're not going to see it. All right, so we're going to do a card base. We're using Rich Razzleberry, which is 5.5 by 8.5. We're scoring it at 4 1/4, and we're going to fold that in half. And then we've got a piece of basic white, and this is at 8 1/4, if I'm not mistaken. And we scored that at 4 1/8. And then we're going to score it again at 2 inches on one side. Okay, so you're going to score it at 4 1/8, and then again at 2 inches, and then you're going to fold it back so it goes like this. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. All right, so that's that. Now what we're going to do is that's going to get placed inside this card, and then this is going to open up with, and we're going to put some designer paper and all that on here. Okay, so first of all, before we do that, I am going to, now some of the paper I'm using, I think this is a Wash with Beauty, if I'm not mistaken, and I will make sure I check that and put that in the comments below. We're going to start out with a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4, and then our designer paper is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. So we're going to go ahead and add this on here, and I could decide if I wanted this paper or this paper. This is going to be an Easter card, just to let y'all know. So this way, whoops, well, my glue's coming out now. It wasn't earlier. All right, so we're going to go ahead and attach this, and then we're going to do, I'm going to bring the Big Shot in, or the Stampin', I'm sorry, it's not the Big Shot anymore. It's the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, and we're going to do a circle cut. But I'll show you that in just a minute. But this is going to be an Easter card. So we're going to make this into an Easter card. All right. So we've got that glued on there. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add that to the front of our card. Okay. So we're going to add it to the front. So we're going to go ahead and add our adhesive. There's so many good things. Y'all are going to really love the catalog. And, you know, if you have an interest in joining Stampin' Up, you can purchase the, what we call the starter kit for $99 plus tax. Stampin' Up will cover the shipping, but you will get to choose $125 worth of product. So you can also choose some of the items that we can pre-order as part of the starter kit. And then you would be able to receive a minimum of 20% discount from now through September. So you'll have about, it's kind of like, you know, it's a membership basically. So every time you place an order after you join, you get a 20% discount, and that would increase based on what your sales are if you decided to teach classes. If you don't, then don't worry about it. You can do it as what we call a hobbyist or a happy stamper, and you'll just continue to get a discount and enjoy the benefits of that. So if you think that's something you're interested in, let me know. I'll be more than happy to share some information with you and give you a little bit more details. All right, now we're going to use the layering circle dies, and this die, and you can use a circle punch, but for the bunny rabbit, because we're going to do the Easter card, I wanted it big enough so that the bunny will fit in the circle. So what we're going to do, and this is about a 2 3/4 inch circle. Okay, so I am going to tape this down, and we're going to run this through the embossing machine, and we're going to cut that whole thing through the paper. All right, so once we do that, then we'll be able to move forward with our next step. So I'm going to go ahead and place this on here. My plates are getting really warped. I'm going to have to start switching them up the other way, but we're going to put this in here. And because of the size, obviously I can't do the baby one. So I'm going to put this right here. I know that y'all have seen the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine before, but I couldn't pre-do this because obviously I wanted to show you how we were going to layer and cut our circle. So let me run that through, and I'm going to come right back, and then we'll move this out of the way, and let's do that right now. So don't forget, if you're on my one of my VIPs, go into the files of the VIP group and you'll be able to download the last chance list, both of them, with bigger prints. There's always a nice demonstrator that knows how to do all that stuff, so they put that together, and which is, it's awesome. You know, you can't beat that, right? Okay, so we've cut this out. I'm going to place this off to the side because we don't need that any longer. Let's move this out of the way. All right, now what we're going to do, now that we have our hole in here, we're going to bring in this paper and we are going to lay this right here, right? So the first thing before we do that, I'm going to put some cardstock and designer paper on the inside. So I'm using Mossy Meadow, and these are at 1 3/4 by 5, a little over 5 inches. It's probably 5. It's probably like 5 1/8. Okay. And then I've got a strip of paper from the same group, and this is let's see, 1 3/4 by, yeah, the Mossy Meadow is 5 1/8, and this is right about 5 inches or slightly below 5. Okay. So we're going to have 2 strips of this. So let's go ahead and add our adhesive to this. And let me get and we'll put this down on our Mossy Meadow is what I'm using. I'm just using the coordinating color. So whatever cardstock you have at home, just use that. You know, of course, I'm trying to use up my designer paper, right? Because the catalog comes out for you all May 1st, if I'm not mistaken. And so all of this will be retired, and of course I can still use it, but you know what happens if I use it, someone's going to say, oh, I love that paper, how do I buy it? And of course you won't be able to. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add this to here, and we're going to place that right on here. All right, okay. All right, so then we're going to place those right here and right here. So we'll go ahead and do that now. This is a really easy card. So, and you know what, I guess it would help if I get in here. Not that you need to watch me put glue on the thing, but we'll do one at a time here. So we'll put this one here. I want to make sure I stay in the camera. So we'll put this one here. And that gives it a nice border. Let me move this over just a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to put this one in here. Now I went ahead and cut another die, another circle of the same size out of basic white cardstock, and that's what we're going to stamp our bunny on. Let me make sure I've got these guys on here pretty even. Okay, so that's good. All right, so now we can put our adhesive on here, and I think because I'm going to, I think I'm going to go ahead and use my, now let's use our I'm not going to do it here, but we're just going to do it on the base like we normally would do, right? Because that's not going to, this part's going to go on the inside of our card. All right, so we're going to lay that. We're going to place this right here. So we want to get that right in there. I'm going to push it over a little bit more. All right, and that should be there. And then this is going to fold up, and that, see how that's going to go? Okay, you with me so far? So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring in, I'm going to set this off to the side for just a moment. I'm going to bring my circle in that I die cut, and I'm going to bring in my Memento Black, and then I want to bring in, I'm using the Easter Bunny stamp set, and we're going to stamp this little bunny on the white, and that's why I needed a bigger circle. Now I could have used the one sitting facing the other direction, but I wanted to have this guy sitting here. So I'm going to stamp him on the circle, and then we're going to color him with our Stampin' Blends. Okay, so we'll get that stamped. I'm using my, since it's a photopolymer, you always want to put the cushion underneath. So use your craft mat or a cushion underneath so that you've got some good coverage. All right, so there's our rabbit. Give me just a minute so I can wipe the ink off of him. And then we're going to bring in, I'm just going to color him with our crumb cake. So we'll go ahead and give him a color. I'm going to color his ears in petal pink. So I'll go ahead and do the insides. And this is the light petal pink. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And then we'll give him, we're going to start with, let me go with the dark. And I'm going to go around, just a little bit around the, I want to make sure I'm in the dark. Yeah. I'm just going to go around these little fuzzy places. We may keep his belly white. We'll see. Or I may just do that in a little bit lighter color. I haven't decided yet. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of kind of shading up in here. Where his little... It's probably going to be too much, but let's see. All right, let's come in with our light. And I'm going to try to bring this in and try to smooth out that dark color there from the dark. So we're just going to kind of pull that down, the dark crumb cake. And we're going to color this. And I'm going to come up in his ear, color that. And this is where you want to be careful. So if you got shaky hands, you might want to use the little fine tip or the nub of the marker. All right, and we'll just come down and do some blending. Oops, well, I guess I'm going to do his belly now because I just got some brown in it. So we're going to go ahead and color his belly. Why not? We'll color him in. We'll leave some little white spaces for him. So let me get this in here and color. Come down to the edge. It's a little bit, when you have a wider space, it's easier to color with the big tip. So we'll just leave a little bit of white spacing throughout. And try to make it look like that. Let's do his little paws, his little rabbit paws, rabbit feet. And then we'll come back with the dark and we're going to color those little pieces on his feet, make those a little bit darker. All right, I'm going to leave some of that white showing through. And then we'll just come back with this. And I'm just going to dot these little guys on his paws. All right, and then I think we can probably do a little bit here with his mouth and his whiskers. All right, and then we'll come back one more time and just do a quick blend because we want to just kind of get those blended in. We'll just come around here one more time on the face. Come up here. All right. Okay. Yeah, I guess I better bring him down until he dries. All right, because sometimes if you don't do all that, it's going to look like it's two-tone. So we'll just bring it down one more time. We'll get him a little darker than what he was. Yeah, and you just have to be careful when you're using this tip because you don't, want to squash it flat. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on it because then it kind of goes flat and you kind of miss the point, right? Color up his little feet here. And we'll color this one again too. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so we're going to have our little bunny. And let's see, we're going to stamp the inside. I think I'm just going to put the bunny on here. I don't know if I'm going to, we might be able, so what we're going to do, we're going to pull this. Now we're going to put adhesive right here, and he's going to sit just like that. So when you open it, he's going to fold out. So I don't think I'm going to add anything. I think I'm just going to leave him just like that. I probably should have sponged the background. We could do a mask, but for time's sake, I think I'm not. I think I'll just leave it the way it is. So I'm going to put some adhesive right here. I'm going to use my seal. So I'm just going to do it right here on this flap, right? Because I want to make sure that it's got enough adhesive to hold him in there. So I'm only going inside where the circle is going to be. So we're going to lay it right there, and we're going to push down. And then he's going to be right there, so that way you don't have to worry about it sticking to your card on the inside. So isn't that cool? So we just open it, and it pops right out. So then I'm going to come in with my Rich Razzleberry, and we're going to stamp Happy Easter. And I'm just going to put that right Let me get some more ink on here. And we're going to put that right about here. Happy Easter. And what else? Let's see. Do we want to do anything else? We could put a little carrot in the bottom if we wanted. But I think we'll leave it at that. All right, so there's a cute little card. Look at that. Isn't that cute? So that's a pretty easy way to make a card. And you can use, circles. You could do squares. You can do whatever shape you desire. And with us coming out with our new punches, if you don't have the layering circles, you can always use our punches, our circle punches. So, all right, so there's the first card. So we're going to move this one off to the side for now. This is a neat one. This is it's a pop-up fold card, and I got this from Tammy White, and I'll show you. Give me 1 second here. We're going to make an envelope as well. So let me put this in the envelope because it's a little bit larger card, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so here is our envelope that we're going to mail this. Now it's a square, so you're probably going to have to pay additional postage. And then what I would do is get one of your labels, label dies, and then just punch out some white, and then you can use that to write your address of who it's going to, put your stamp up in the top and your return address. So that's the envelope, and then here is the card that we're going to make. All right, so it looks like this, and then we're going to fold it up, and then it's going to be a like a diamond shape fun fold stand-up card, so it could sit on somebody's desk, on their table, or what have you. And then on the inside is where you can write your message. Isn't that cute? So this is what we're going to make. It really is pretty easy, but you just have to make sure you get all your measurements done correctly. And then again, I'll show you how to do the envelope. Now this does take 12 by 12 paper. I'm going to show you because I don't normally buy the 12 by 12 cardstock. It's very rare. I have white, but I don't usually buy anything else than that. So I will show you what we're going to do. You're going to cut 2 pieces of cardstock. Now I'm using, what is it called? The bouquet, the country bouquet. I'm sorry. See, I'm losing my mind again. All right, so we're going to use some of that paper. Now, again, I know that paper is no longer available, but I'm going to use up what I have. So I'm going to use the card base of Mossy Meadow. So you want 2 pieces of cardstock. You want one at 6 by 6, so it's a 6-inch square, and then the other one you want at 6.5 by 6. Okay, and then on the 6.5-inch side, you're going to take your paper. You want to take your scoring tool. And on the 6.5 side, you want to score at 1/2 inch, and then you want to move it down and score at, should be 3.5 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so score at 1/2 inch and then score at 3.5. Okay, and this is what we'll use to create the base of our card. So I'm going to fold this over. This is what we're going to add to our other piece to give us the length of card that we need to make this particular card. All right, so I'm going to bring my bone folder in, and we're going to give this a good burnish. So what we want to do is we're going to add this to, we're going to adhere that right to that flap right there. So we're going to take, let me get my craft mat out, and we're going to put some adhesive. I'm going to use my seal, and we're going to run it along this piece right here, this strip. And I'm going to go back because I didn't get any right there. Let's put a little bit more. Okay. So this guy is going to just butt up to that score line. And whoopsie, we want to make sure, since we're using the seal, that we've got this where it needs to go. So let me get it lined up so we can lay it down, because once it goes down, we won't get it back up. I think that's good. All right, so that's our card. Okay. Now, and I scored, there's my 3.5 piece that I scored, right? All right, now, the next thing we're going to do is you're going to fold this piece in, but before we do that, and I'm going to use the chalk marker, the white chalk marker, so you can see what we need to do. Now, on this side, we already have this scored at 3 inches, right? But we've got to create this triangle, okay? So we want to create this piece right here. So you want to get your ruler, and you want to go on the bottom, or whatever, on this side, either side. So right here, we're going to mark this. Since this is 6 inches, I'm going to make a little dot right here that is at the 3-inch mark, okay? And then we're going to cut from here to that score line, which is at 3 inches, correct? Okay, so I don't need to mark that. So this side, I'm going to do both. I'm going to mark at the end, and I mark this at 3 inches. I'm just going to put a little dot. That way y'all can see the dot. We probably can't see it, but I'll show you in just a second. Then we're going to come up here, and we're going to see our 6 inches. So our 3-inch mark is here. So we're going to make a mark there. And then we're going to come down here and do the same thing at the bottom. We're going to make a little dot right there. Okay, let me bring this up and show you. Okay, so we've got this side we went ahead and scored because this is going to be the top of our card. So you're going to measure 3 inches on the side here. And then we're going to cut from here down to the score line on both sides to make our point. Okay, then this one, since we don't, this is already scored, we need our 3-inch centered here. So we want 3 inches at the top and the bottom and 3 inches on this side. And we're going to cut at an angle to get those pieces. All right, so we're going to bring in the paper trimmer. So let's bring that one in. Get some of this stuff out of the way. All right, so we're going to bring this in, and we're going to take and line up this dot here into our track and line this dot up as well so we get them in the track. And then we're going to cut down, make sure it's even. And then I'm going to, what I normally do is I kind of start inside the paper a little bit. I'll come down because sometimes if you go up, the paper kind of tears. So I'm going to go in a little bit onto the paper. I'm going to cut back and then go forward. Okay, so we have this, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we want to line up our white dot. Now you don't have to put the white dots on yours unless you want to. It makes it easier really to see. So we're going to line that up, and we've got that lined up. So I'm going to put my paper trimmer. I'm going to put my trimmer in there, and then I'm going to bring it down and cut again. All right, so we have our front piece right there. And then on the opposite side, we're going to put our score line, the 3-inch score line in the track, and line up our dot as well. Okay. So again, I'm going to start off inside and go up. And then we've got it already cut. So we'll just line this up again to the score line. And the score line is right there. I've got that in the track. So again, I'm going to come down. Have to make sure I don't move it. Hang on a minute. Let me fold it so I can see. Sometimes you may have to fold it, or you can put that little white mark there. All right, so there's my score line right there. And then you're going to turn this and then recheck your score line because sometimes the paper will shift. And we want to make sure we got that in there. I think we're good. Yeah. All right, I'm going to come inside and then we're going to cut. All right, so there's our base of our card. Now we're going to take, move this out of the way for a second. Whoopsie. All right, so this piece here we're going to fold in and we're going to give this a burnish. All right, and this is going to be the top of our card. This is the front, the top, and then this is the bottom. So now what we're going to do is we are going to come in, and we've got some squares and designer paper that we need to cut. So let me give you those measurements. Let me get my stamps over here. All right, so what you're going to do, and I'm using this paper here, so I'm going to use mint macaron, and of course my Mossy Meadow is going to be the base. So I'm going to do I'm going to make 2 4-inch by 4-inch squares. Okay, so you want 2 of whatever color coordinating squares at 4 by 4, and then you want your designer paper. You want 2 pieces of that at 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, or 3 3/4 square. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We'll have these 2 pieces we're going to put on here. So let's go ahead and attach these, and then we'll move forward, and I'll show you the next thing of what we're going to do. All right, so let's go ahead and add our designer paper. And you can do, if you're going to use a pattern that's a pretty, you know it's a pattern, like this flowers, you can't really tell. Just make sure you keep in mind this is going to be once we apply this, it's going to be on an angle. We're going to put it on the diamond, if you will. Okay, so we're going to put that on there, and then we'll go ahead and do this one too. All right, so I'm going to add this one as well. All right, so we're going to put that in there. And then we're going to put that on here. Okay. All right, so that's those two. And then, and what we'll do, see, it's going to attach just like that. All right, see that? Now, so we have this piece right here. So we want, so here we want to put some other paper. So I'm doing a piece of mint macaron because I'm going to stay with that same family. And then I'm just using a back piece of petal pink that has little hearts and crosses in it. So I think that will look pretty there. So I'm going to go ahead and add this, or you could put, you know, whatever design you want to do, but I don't want it to clash. So I'm just trying to use a subdued piece. So we're going to attach this to the mint macaron, and this piece is, help if I give you the measurements for that, wouldn't it? It's 2, hang on a minute, 2 3/4 if I'm not mistaken, but let me tell you. All right, so the base, the mint macaron, hang on, let me get my pattern paper. The mint macaron is, yes, 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. So then this designer paper is going to be 2 1/2 by 5 1/2. Okay, so 2 1/2 by 5 1/2, and the green, the mint macaron, is 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and that's going to go right here. So we're going to lay this right here. Okay. All right, hopefully this is making sense. And it's really, I just thought this is such a clever card. And, you know, if it's somebody's birthday, you can make a beautiful birthday card, maybe have some balloons popping up on it, and they can set that on their desk. So we're just going to lay this right here. So we're just going to place that right inside. That way all of our cards are going to be decorated and looking nice and pretty. So that's really going to be the back of the card. So now we're going to take and we're going to add our piece right here. And before I do that, I'm going to stamp one of the flowers, which will go in the center here. So I'm going to stamp it first before I attach anything, and then we'll move forward. So I'm going to bring in my, let's see, what do I got here? I'm going to do the heart that has the flowers in it. Okay, so these are the flowers. So I'm going to stamp those in petal pink, and then I'll show you what else we're going to do too. All right, so we're going to get this inked up in petal pink, and then we're going to come back and stamp the leaves around it in the mint macaron. Okay, so we've got our petal pink heart. Now I'm going to have it stamped because I want it to be on the diagonal, right? Because it's not going to be square. So I need to stamp it, and you want to make sure whatever you do, and your square will be whatever your image is. This particular image, I'll tell you in just a second. Let me just make sure I get my ink dispersed. All right, this particular square is 2 3/4 square. All right, and then we're going to come back. Let me clean this off. And we're going to come back with the other part of this stamp that is the leaves, and we're going to ink this up in mint macaron. Let me see if I can get it this way. Yeah, it should work like that. No, let's go this way. Mint macaron. Okay, so this is going to be in mint macaron. So let's ink that up, and then we're going to line that up, and hopefully, whoops, hopefully we get it to where it works. It looks pretty. All right. So we're going to do mint macaron, and I'm going to hover over this. I'll move it up so y'all can see. I'm going to hover, which I think I might need to bring it closer to me so that I can see. But I'm going to hover so I can see where my leaves are going to make sure they're in the areas where there's holes before I set it down. And hopefully this works and it's not, oops, up. All right, hang on. So give me just a second. I got to do a little twisty turny thing here. I'm trying to figure out how it's going to go. Bear with me. Well, we're going to try that and see what happens. Maybe I should have done the leaves first and then came back with the flower. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm not sure how that's supposed to look, but I think that looks fine. I think that'll be fine. All right, so we're going to cover this. Let me cover up my ink. Let's move this out of the way. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to place that right on here. And then I'm going to, maybe I'll put a little bow there. Hang on a second. Let me we'll use the beige, this beige ribbon. We'll just make a quick little bow. All right, so we'll do that. It might be too big, but let's see. We'll make a bow and add this to the front. If it's too big, then we'll come back and just do some twine. Oh, and that's the other thing. I forgot to put twine on the card. The bunny card, I meant to add twine, so I'll go back and show you in a minute. We should have added some twine to the inside, just wrapped around on the inside of the card. So let's see if we can make a smaller bow. Let me cut this and then we'll try to trim this down a little bit. So yeah, we don't want him to overpower. So give me just a second. Let's kind of play with this little guy here. See if we can get a smaller bow. It's got to try to almost pull it apart, right? Because by the time you pull it, it tightens it. So we want to do that. Again, I'm going to pull it down just a little bit more because I want to get it to be smaller. There we go, get it nice and tight. Oh yeah, that's definitely what we needed. All right, so let me go ahead and trim this. I don't have my ribbon scissors with me, but that's all right, we'll make it work. Okay, all right, so we'll put a little bow there. Since we're gonna have to pay extra postage to mail it anyways, we might as well add the little bow to it. So we'll use a glue dot to adhere that. So let's go ahead and add this on our card, and then I'm gonna add the bow once I get it on here. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's get our glue onto our square of design. Excuse me here. I hope you're enjoying this. And we're going to place this I'm going to place it right in the center. So hopefully I've got it. And then we're going to place a glue dot. Actually, I'm going to probably put 2 or 3 glue dots on here to hold this guy in place. So let's go ahead and let me get my scissors. I should get my take your pick tool. Actually, we'll do it this way. I wish they would do these glue dots the way we used to get them. Remember how they were on the outside, not on the inside? This is kind of a pain, but anyways. All right, so we're going to add, I'm going to put a couple, I think I'm going to put 3 glue dots because I want to make sure it holds on there. And I'll add one more kind of towards the bottom. All right, so we're going to place that right there. I think that's going to look pretty. So let's do that. We'll put that right there. There we go. Okay, so that's going to go right here. All right, so we're going to put that right about like that. So you've got a little bit of a border from your Mossy Meadow. All right, so we're going to come in with, I'm going to use my seal, and I'm just going to add seal all along the edges so that we can hold this in place, because I don't want to get it to where, I'm going to put some right along here, because that part of that's going to stand up right when we open our card. So we want to make sure we get nice glue on it. So we're going to lay this down. So there's the front of the card. I'll come back and clean off this glue. Now that's the start of it, see? Okay, so that's how the card's going to look. Now we're going to do the inside. Now the first thing, okay, so we have this square. So this square is going to go right here. Now normally you can see my white dots. So what I'm going to do, and I did that just for you all. So what I'll do when I get done, so you don't see those, I'm going to come back with the marker and the Mossy Meadow. Actually, I'll take the blend and do it right now. So let's take our blend, and I'm just going to cover that dot so it doesn't stand out as much. You know, we're going to try to hide it. But I only did that for you guys, so that way it doesn't show. It kind of blends it in. All right, now, so this is going to get attached here, but before we do that, you're going to have to cut another 2 squares because we're going to dress this up. So you're going to cut a square of coordinating. So I'm doing the mint. This is going to be 2 3/4 square, And then we're going to do that same paper that we put on the front, and this is going to be 2.5 square. So 2.5 by 2.5, and then 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Now what we're going to do before we attach them is we are going to get our paper trimmer, and we're going to cut these at an angle, and we're going to do them individually. Okay, so again, we're going to place the square in the track and get our the corners lined up so that we can just come down and cut at the angle. All right, so let me get this. I'm going to hold it over here. So I'm going to lay that down, get my paper in there, and then we're going to cut up. Okay, so we have those two pieces. And then we'll come back and we're going to do the same thing with this designer paper. So we're going to line up both of our tips, both of the corners, and we're going to go up and then come down. Okay, now we'll attach these so that way it gives us our border. So we're going to do just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and add our adhesive to this. All right, so we'll go ahead and see if I can pick this up without getting glue all over my fingers. All right, so we're going to add this right here. See, it really is a fun card. It just looks a lot harder than it is. Once you get the measurements down, it's pretty easy. All right, we'll go ahead and do the same on this one. So this would be a fun card, especially if you're going to send it to somebody that wants, somebody, they always, if they work or they like your cards and they always put them on their, mantle or someplace in the house on a table. So that would be really nice. All right, so we're going to put that on here, and we'll make sure we've got our border. All right, now, so we're going to come back, and the next thing we're going to do before I attach this is I want this to be, I want to place where my items are going to be, right? So I want to put, these guys are going to go right here. So I want to get them in position of where they'll go before we add our adhesive. This way we know that we can make sure we get it straight. So I'm going to get these guys in here and get them situated where I think they'll look good. All right, so about like that probably. We might have to move it over just a little bit. So you just kind of eyeball it. All right, and then I think that's good. So I've got this is in, that's in. We're going to move these over just a little bit more. So now I know I can go ahead and attach my square. So I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on my diamond, and I can cover all of this because this is going to be attached to the bottom of our card. All right, so we're going to put this all on here, and then we're going to go ahead and place that down here. So we're going to get that in, and I've got a nice border on the bottom, as you can see. Okay, so we've got that down, and now I can add my squares and get them to look like it's supposed to look, and they look all pretty. All right, so we're going to do that. All right, so we're almost done with this, and then we have to make our envelope. All right, so we're going to lay that right about there, and just make sure you've got enough border. That's all you want to do, and then make sure they're even. It's a little bit harder when you've got the camera in the way. You can't stick your head over there, but it's all right. I think we're getting it. All right, and then this one's going to go right here. So that kind of dresses this up so you're not looking at all this mossy meadow, right? All right, so there's that. Isn't that pretty? All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is I've punched out one of the tailored, the Tasteful label dies, and we're going to stamp, and I'm going to use Memento Black. Hopefully it's not going to be too dark. Maybe I should use the green. Well, we'll try this. Maybe I'll stamp off. Let me see if this is going to be. No, I'll do it. I'm going to put, I love that we are friends. So I'm going to stamp that right about here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put dimensionals on the back of this. And this is going to allow that to pop up so that our card will then stand up. So we're going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on here. And actually, I think I'm going to do, let me get this, lift this one up. We're probably just going to do, right, we probably only need 2. All right, so we'll take these off. Now, what you want to do before you attach this is you want to make sure you don't want your card standing straight up like that, right? Or like that. So you want to kind of get it to where you think it's going to lie. And I would probably put it down towards the bottom. So I'm going to put it right about, and I think that looks nice. I'm going to put it right about here. Now what we could do, and then see how that stands, I'm going to turn it this way. I think what I should have done is we could stamp something on here if we want to put like a little flower, or we could add some embellishment. So let's see what we've got. Let's see what I can find in here real quick. Give me just a minute. Let's see. Let's add, these are the metallic pearls. So why don't we add a gold? So we'll just add one, let's just put them down here. And you can put whatever, I'm going to put 3 of them. Whatever you want that's going to go with your design. That way it doesn't look so naked. There we go. All right, so there's the card. So it lays flat. And then when you receive it, of course, it lays flat. You have all of this. And then it opens. And then the person can stand it up like that. All right, now let me show you how to make the envelope. And then we'll be done. Okay, so I'm going to set this off to the side for just a minute. All right, now to make the envelope, hang on, let me move some stuff out of the way here. You're going to need a piece of, and we're going to have to do a little bit of being a little creative here. So you're going to take a piece of designer paper that's 12 by 8.5. You want your 12 inches to go this way and your 8.5 to be up at the top. Now I'm thinking I'm going to use, you know what, I think I just lied. We want it to go this way. I cut my paper wrong, didn't I? Because yeah, I did. So, all right, well, that's okay. I'm going to make this, the outside is going to be, this is going to be my outside, and this will be the inside, and I don't care. The bicycle is going to be crooked, but that's all right. And this, we're going to cut a piece. We're going to have to do an extension because this isn't going to fit all the way in, but that's all right. It'll still work because this will be the outside of our card. All right, so you want, so we want to wrap it around. Yes, it's going to go like that. All right, let's do 1 inch here. All right, we're going to score 1 inch on the bottom, so that's going to be my bottom. I'll just flip the paper around because, again, we're going to have that on the outside. Okay, so the bottom, we're going to score 1 inch, okay? And then we're going to flip it around, and the top part, whatever side you want to be the top, sorry, I'm going to flip it back this way so I can get to the 1.5 mark. So the top of your paper, whoops, the top of the paper you want at 1.5. So, of course, I've got my design going the wrong direction. I really thought I cut it right, so I had my bikes going, and obviously I didn't. But that's okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to, see the inches at the bottom. All right, so we're going to take our card, and we're going to lay it in here. And we are going to fold. Let's see, we've got our 1.5 up here. We've got our 1 inch down here, okay? And we're going to wrap this around. So we're just going to lightly kind of crease it. All right, so we're going to lightly crease, and you're going to see there's going to be a gap. So let's just lightly crease it, okay? Lightly crease it. And then I need a piece that's going to go, and this is going to be like a little separate little piece. Now I'm going to turn it around. It's still not going to match, but that's okay. I'm going to put this underneath. So you want a piece that's going to be 3 by 6. Okay, so this is already 3 inches if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to cut this 3 by 6. We probably don't even need the 6 inches. So this, nope, that's a little wider than 3. All right, so let's do, we'll do 6 inches. So it goes all the way to the bottom, which we don't probably need. But let's go ahead and cut 6 inches, and then we're going to make this 3, which we probably don't even need 3 inches, but that's right. We'll just make sure we have enough to cover it. Okay, so we're going to take this piece is going to be our piece that is going to, we're going to put it on the inside so they don't see it. All right, so that's just going to cover that up. All right, now, before we adhere this, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out these corners right here where and you don't have it real tight because they got to be able to pull the card out, right? So we're going to cut these corners off. So I'm just going to crease them where the score line is, okay? So we're going to bring in our paper snips, and we're just going to take these corners off, And I'm going to cut a little bit at an angle to get to this one. And then, of course, we want to just trim this one off. All right, so we're just going to come in here and trim that off. And we'll do the same thing on this corner. I wish I would have cut it so the bicycles were going by the right way, because I was really thinking, oh, this is going to look so cute when they open it and they see bicycles, but the bikes are going the wrong way, but that's all right. All right, and then I'm going to trim this a little bit at an angle. Oops, I didn't do very good with that, did I? Okay, and then we're going to cut this one here, and we'll cut here, and then we're going to cut up on the score line to that part. And again, I'm going to, whoops, cut that off, pull that. I'm going to trim this a little bit at an angle, not much, okay, because it's going to be folded. All right, and we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. This is the 1 inch side. So we're just going to come up to where we folded it with our hands. Whoopsie. And then we're going to snip this off. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that a little bit like that. And then we need, I think we've got all 4, right? Okay, so we'll take these and toss these out of the way. Then you could keep those and use them for scraps. So we've got our card. So we're going to place our card in here. And now we're going to attach, I'm going to move this up just a little bit because I've got my corner right there. So I'm going to fold this up. This will be the outside. This is going to be the bottom. This is going to be the front that we're going to fold in when we get ready to close up our card, okay? So for now, then I just need to add this little piece right here. So I'm going to add some adhesive, and we're just going to overlap this piece. And we're going to put it on here. See, now I got a piece going in the right direction, right? But they're not going to see this, but that's all right. So this is going to come in, and we're going to line that up right about like that. And then we're going to fold that over, and then I'll put some adhesive on this side. And you could place it on top if you want. I'm just going to place it on the inside. And then this is going to go, fold it over, and we're going to just push it down like that, okay? Now this is the bottom, so we'll go ahead and fold this and glue this together. All right, so we're going to go ahead and adhere that. And let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to fold this up. So there seals our envelope. And then what you want to do is when you're ready to mail it, you can put tear and tape on it, or you can use your seal adhesive. And then you're going to use your a label. Again, place a label on here of white, and then you're ready to mail it. So isn't that cute? So here you go. Here is the card that we made. You can go back and you can crease these if you want, your edges. But we want to make sure it stays puffy, so that, and then you're going to have your card, and there you go. Isn't that cute? So that's an easy way. Now just keep in mind, because this is a square envelope, you are going to pay a little bit extra for it. So just keep that in mind. And then this one, on the bunny, we should have added some baker's twine. All right, so what we'll do on this card is we'll just tie some, sorry about that, we'll just tie some white twine around, and we'll just wrap it around, tie a bow. So we'll do that. Let me just chop some off, and then we'll just come up here, we'll close it, we'll just tie a bow, and then you can slide it wherever you want your bow to be. So that adds a little bit of, a little something to your card. My fingernails and this twine, I should use my tweezers, because we're gonna, you know, it's gonna, there we go. Get my fingers on it. There we go. Nope, that's too loose. Hang on. But you get the gist of it, right? I don't know why I have problems. Am I the only one that has problems tying baker's twine and bows and stuff? I swear, I always feel like I'm struggling with this thing. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if we can tie this really tight. I think I'll And I pull it and use my other finger to help hold the stuff down, but I'm not sure why. I always struggle with this, but well, it's all right. We'll figure it out. There we go. So we can just, and that probably looks good. We'll cut the tails off a little bit. We'll trim them just a tad. Probably not much. And there we go. All right, so there are our 2 cards that we made with an envelope. So there you go. There's the Easter Bunny, or whatever, design you want to do. Open it up, and you've got your decoration here, and then you're placing the inside to write your message, and then close it back up like that. And then we have this fun desktop stand-up corner fold like that. Isn't that beautiful? And a coordinating envelope, or however you want to do your envelope. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you watching the video this evening, and I apologize that I'm not here live, but I'm thinking of you while I'm listening to music. So have a great week. Again, thank you. If you need anything, please reach out and let me know. If you don't have a demonstrator and you would like a catalog, just make sure you message me before let's just say before the 10th of April, and I'll get those in the mail as soon as I get my order in. All right, thanks again, everyone. I hope you have a great week, and I will be back next Tuesday. Bye now.